Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. Thank you so much for coming back for another episode down on the Lawfolds farm. This is episode number 28, and I am just heading back to our main farm after selling a load of canola up to Aberdeen Grains, I believe it was. And we've got one more load to take up there, so we're going to do that on camera here. I'm just going to take the opportunity to do one thing here, and that is just hop out here and clean the windshield off just a little bit. I hit a bug at some point and it splattered right in the middle of my view, so we'll just kind of hit the high spots there just a little bit. That's pretty good right there. Put our wand away, come back over, get in. We're also going to go ahead and top up on diesel fuel just while we're here, because we kind of need to make this circle around here anyway. So we'll shut off our engine, and obviously we got to hop back in to do this, so we'll hop out and do this. Hope everyone is having a wonderful week. I sure am, and getting back a good I think a good healthy buffer of episodes, which helps me out tremendously. But I just want to remind everyone that, you know, sometimes because of working in a bit of a buffer like this, having several episodes ahead of schedule, I may talk about things that may be either old news by the time you hear about it, or maybe, as is the case, for example, I talked about cattle and crops on the episode 27, which you saw on Monday, and of course the news came out on Friday, just prior to that, about the fact that cattle and crops early access was going to be delayed a couple of weeks. So, you know, if I say things in an episode that may sort of contradict either the latest and greatest news or whatever, just keep in mind that I am working behind schedule just a bit. So we're gonna take the rest. We got 46, almost 46,000 liters of canola. This load will completely empty our canola storage, so got to take advantage of this high demand, great demand, while we have the materials. And of course, just like with you know, all of our series, but even more so. Oh, this is only a 31,000 capacity. Okay, I thought this was a little higher. I got this confused with the tipper that I use on Pine Cove Farm. So, all right. Well, I thought that was the last load, but anyway, it is what it is, and we will do one load, and then we'll do some other things, and then I will sell the balance before noon in this episode. This may be the last episode for this game day. Just kind of making an effort to, you know, pace things out. I do have one hired worker working on field number 38, I believe it is, or 28, one of the two, and he is or she, I'm not sure who hopped in the tractor. You know, with Farm Sim 17, we've got a variety of characters, and so not sure if it was a guy or a gal, but anyway, he or she is doing a fantastic job seeding barley in that field, because we are taking advantage of the seasons mod and the ability to plant winter barley and winter wheat. And today is the day that, according to the chart from the seasons mod, today is the day that we can plant barley. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to plant a field in barley tomorrow, the next game day. So that would be mid-fall. So this is essentially early autumn or early fall. In mid-fall, we will do wheat, and then we will also do a field in a winter canola. So we'll try those out. You know, this is all about learning. It's all about helping the mod team sort of test, but also, just most importantly, it's about us learning together how the Seasons mod works. And so far, I love it. And so far, I have come to the conclusion, of course, I've talked about this before, but I just can't really play this without the Seasons mod. It is just, it's just quite, the vanilla game without the Seasons mod, even with other mods in. It's just boring, for lack of a better description than that. It's just boring. So for all of you who don't have the Seasons mod but are certainly glued to your computer screens, watching my episodes and the episodes of a few others who have access to the Seasons mod and are showcasing the Seasons mod on their channels, I'm sure we're all singing the same tunes. I know for a fact that Reefy1952, Mike, he pretty much feels about the Seasons mod that I do. In other words, it's one of the must-have mods. It's like Soil Mod was for Farm Sim 15. And of course, as we learned our lesson from previous episode, at the end of that episode, we unfortunately, this is a beautiful setting here. It even has some graffiti on the wall, which I did not notice the first time I came up here at Aberdeen Grain. So somebody is tagging the buildings and stuff here, so shame on them. But it's a beautiful building here. It's just that they didn't incorporate or didn't think about the fact that there might be bigger tippers that might come in here, and if you are a little bit off and under that awning or overhang there, then it's going to be a bit of a problem. So even though so tip side back, tip side grain door, even though it's tip side grain door, it's still obviously it still lifts up, and it still will get hung under there, and it'll freak your tipper and tractor and possibly hang you up on that railing there. So I think we're okay. We're off to the side there. So just keep in mind when you do come up here to dump your hard-earned crops, just come off to the side here just a little bit, and all will work just fine for you, and all will be just magical. But yeah, what I ended up having to do, I didn't want to reset, because if you reset your tipper, if it's got grain in it, you're going to lose the grain. So I'm pretty greedy at this particular point in time, because we are playing career mode on this map, and I was very greedy about the fact that I did not want to tip, or I'm sorry, I did not want to reset. So what I ended up doing was I disconnected the tractor from the tipper, and Mike, I'm sorry, you will remember that in episode 27 I was using the JCB to haul grain up here. Well, I ended up taking the JCB, disconnecting it from the tipper, and basically using it as a battering ram, and just basically managed to hit the tipper enough times to where I knocked it off the rail, and then I was able to basically come back around and reconnect to it, and then go ahead and tip the material that was inside of it, and we got our full credit, and the JCB withstood every bit of that pounding. So built like a tank, I gotta say, Mike. The JCB is an incredible tractor, and I've certainly learned to appreciate the fine qualities of the JCB brand. So yeah, so right now the JCB is doing the seeding in field number 38, I think it is. Anyway, so that is that story, and that's all I've got to say about that. So 383,000, most likely that remaining bit of canola that we have, which I will do off camera, just so that we can go do something else for the remaining portion of this episode. But most likely that canola will push us very, very close, if not over, the $400,000 mark. And so, and of course, we still have sugar beets in the ground that need to come out. We still have 2 additional fields, of which I think one of them is, or maybe both of them, is soybean. So as a matter of fact, why don't we just stop right here and take a look and see exactly what we have left in the ground. So here's our map. Everything that we have harvested, most everything that we have harvested, we have plowed. We still have 33 and 32. So yeah, Courseplay is working down in field number 34 here and doing a fine job at that. So we still have fields. Let me get over here to this view here. We still have fields 30 and 27 and 26 to do. So let's just take a look at what those crops are there. 30 obviously is sugar beets, 27 is sunflowers, and 26 is soybeans. So we still have a variety of crops that maybe, just maybe, a great demand will come in for. We haven't, to my knowledge, I haven't seen a great demand for those crops come in just yet. So maybe, just maybe, as I said, we will get that great demand and have the opportunity to sell those for a little more than perhaps normal. And I've pretty much come to the conclusion that what we're going to do with our small amount of pocket change, well, it's not small, I guess, I mean almost 400K, is we are most likely going to upgrade our combine. The combine that we have, that Massey Ferguson, is a great starting combine, but it is, you know, the fields are not super big on this map, so certainly they're not the size of Pineco Farm or you know, some of the other really super large maps, large fields out there available. But they are big enough that in our episodes, in the way that I'm, you know, sort of showcasing the episodes and then sort of working some of the work off camera and such, they are somewhat large, where it takes a little more than, you know, 30 minutes or so to do the episode, and I'm spending about twice the amount of time off camera wrapping up the episode than I am actually doing the work, especially harvesting, on camera. And I understand that, you know, the story and everything is not necessarily specific to what I can do on or off camera. And I'm going to just leave this here because we're going to jump out. We don't need to take the New Holland to do what we're going to do next. We'll take the deer here. Where is the deer? Oh, the deer is in maintenance. Let's see. Where's the light switch? There's a light switch. Where's our there we go. Turn off the lights to save some money there. Not that I think that it costs us any extra, but anyway, not that the size of the combine needs to be sort of dictating, or that the episodes, the length of the episodes or anything like that need to specifically dictate the size of combine or the size of header that we use on a given map. But I think, you know, it helps me out just a little bit with timing. Plus, I think, you know, I mean, if a farmer could afford a larger combine with a larger header, that improves his or her efficiencies and everything, and I think that's what they would go for. So I think that what we're going to do is most likely we're going to interchange our combine, and we will just kind of stop here for a moment and take a look and see how we're progressing with our seeding. So coming along quite nicely there with our seeding. So good job. Good job. As a matter of fact, we'll go around the side here, and that might be a good opportunity for just a screenshot to kind of help tell a story. fit the 2 tractors in the shot. But so yeah, with almost 400,000 saved up, I think that might do us good for upgrading our combine. And then at that point, it's just really to see. All right, that's good enough. At that point, we'll just see what we have left. You know, we do have a 0 line of credit. So you know, if we wanted to purchase an additional field, to be quite honest, now that we're doing Pine Cove Farm and we're doing all 3 animal types on Pine Cove, I'm not that interested in doing pigs on this map. I think that between the dairy and the sheep farm, I think that's quite enough to keep us, you know, keep us busy, keep us entertained with animal stuff, and I think that's going to be just fine. So I think I'm going to hold off at least this year, this season, on investing any of our hard-earned money on pigs, and just kind of focus on upgrading our combine and maybe purchasing one of these smaller fields, maybe one of these back here, you know. And again, we still have 3 fields to harvest. We actually still have some crops in storage, so I mean, I could basically sell everything. Let me just slow down and stop here, and we'll take a look at this. Let's see, right here. So we still have, you know, we still have 10,000 wheat, 23,000 barley. This will go today before noon. We've got, you know, 6,500 in sunflower, which obviously we'll have more of that. We'll have more soybean. We've got some corn, and obviously we've got our sugar beets. And don't forget, we have wool. We have a lot of wool. I have actually been moving wool off the, you know, the temporary spawning location and moving that and putting that under cover, just in the hopes maybe that we have a great demand for wool. And if and we do, then obviously we're going to obviously take advantage of that. So I think we need to give our cows some total mix rations. So we're going to mix up some total mix rations here in this episode. If I can get connected to the mixing wagon here. Love this little mixing wagon. And we'll turn her on, and we'll hop out and go get in our trusty telehandler. And of course, by now I've done one real episode of Pine Cove Farm. I did a short introduction, kind of to set a bit of the stage, and then episode 1, which you guys saw on Tuesday, of Pine Cove. That was our first working episode. And so, you know, there's a vast difference between Pine Cove and obviously this map, whereas with Pine Cove, you know, Stevie's put in the silo, the accept anything silos, so we're able to do all of our things like hay, straw, grass, silage, etc. We're able to dump those things into silos. We've also got the silage. Silo, for lack of a better description. And you know, I sort of thought, you know, I've obviously seen these clamp type, these bunkers, like I like to call them. I think that's kind of the technical term for them. I think that's what they're referred to in real life. These silage bunkers, clamps or whatever. And when I first saw Pine Cove Farm and I saw that silage silo, I thought, okay, well that's cool, you know. And and obviously it's, you know, ease of use and everything, but those really do exist. I looked it up, did a little bit of research. They are made out of, usually they're made out of concrete. They're concrete silos, and I'm not sure what that one on Pine Cove, if it's actually, if it looks like it's concrete or if it looks like it's metal of some sort. But anyway, whatever it is, that type of silo does exist, and some of the benefits, some of the talking point benefits of something like that, as an example, is that it's less. Come on. Nope. It's less effort, because you're basically using gravity, the forces of gravity, to do your compaction for you. They basically suggest that there is actually less waste in a silo type situation, because it's better contained. It's better protected from not only the elements, but also from critters and that sort of thing. And so yeah, so it's just before we put the telehandler up, we're gonna give them a bit of straw here. Let's just see how much straw we actually need to give them. So yeah, so you know, that actually does exist, and that's kind of cool. So straw there, they could use a lot of straw. So let's just go ahead and let's just take them 4. Let's just take them 4 straw over. And of course, we don't have a straw blower on this map. It will accept the straw just like this, and of course we can say that we're basically, you know, spreading the straw manually. And there we go. So let's just take a look. That's good enough. So we will go ahead and put our telehandler up. So anyway, that's cool, because you know, the silo there on Pine Cove Farm, you can just drop your grass in the silo, and you know, it converts it to silage, and then obviously you can then just take it from there, because we don't necessarily need a mixing wagon or anything of that nature on the map, because Stevie's got the mixing plants. Now, I don't know if those exist in real life. If somebody knows that's a little closer to the farming industry than I am, then let me know. I simply don't know the answer to that question, if they do or not. We'll go ahead and drop this up here in the main dairy. Those two troughs are that trough back there and this trough are all sort of linked together, so it really doesn't matter where you drop it, as long as you drop it. So, and there we go. Alright, let's just look at our levels here, and this will bring them all up to speed here, and all is looking good. So yeah, if anybody knows if mixing stations are something like that exists, then you know, leave a comment and let me know. I'd be interested to know if something like that, you know, mechanical powered type station. Obviously, I know that these mixing wagon type devices exist. This is obviously built off of a real live model, but I'm just curious if the mechanical mixing stations, like on Pine Cove Farm for pigs and cows, total mix rations for cows, if that exists in real life. And yes, I could use Google to find the answer to that question, I am sure. But you know, I have a vast number of listeners who also can probably, who can also probably tell me the answer to that question. So let's go down and just kind of, while we're doing miscellaneous kind of things on this map, or on this episode, let's just go down and check on our sheep just for good measure. We have a few minutes left, and we can do that. Looks like our hired worker has finished seeding barley in field number 34, or 38, or whatever the number is. I'm really sorry, I'm 34, field 34. As I said once a few episodes ago on this map, I may actually mow again. I'll do it off camera because we're going to be doing some mowing on Pine Cove Farm. So I'm not going to make you watch me mow for what would be a third or fourth time on this map, but we may just do that just to build our hay level up just a bit, because we've got to get through, several months, aka several game days of winter and spring before we get grass again that'll be tall enough to cut, because the Seasons mod does knock the grass back. Now, to be honest, I've not seen how it affects grass going from fall into winter, how it affects the grass, visible grass height and everything. Obviously, I've seen it multiple times on starting the game out with a brand new game save in spring, and obviously it's knocked back considerably. But so yeah, we will just kind of park here for a moment and get out and run into our wait there. So this is our this is the little Sammy. Okay, so this is our sacrificed tractor here that we're looking to see how it affects it. Maintenance says it's required. It starts up, it backs up, it moves. Let's see. Do they need some hay grass? Let's take them one bale. I think that most likely when we come out of this game day, hopefully this thing won't break down while we are, and I realize I'm using a set of pallet forks for this, but it works just fine. Yeah, we've got quite a bit of wool there. Oops. We've got quite a bit of wool, and probably on the sale of wool alone, that might actually buy the header itself. I don't know. But yeah, it's I'm quite excited to sell that wool. I think we'll most likely sell some of that soon. We'll see if there's a great demand for it. But obviously I also want to see, we want to see together what's going to happen with our little Sammy here, if it's going to, if it's basically going to stop working on us because of the Seasons mod when we haven't done maintenance. We will find out. We'll find out soon enough. But probably not today. I do like farming with bales, and I think I like having the break, like with a map like Stevie's, for example, where we don't have to mess with bales if we don't want to. So it's kind of a good break, and I think for a series, it's good to kind of showcase the different things. And obviously, we're doing that here. We're doing hay bales, grass bales, straw bales. We're doing silage bales, etc. So all is right in the world. All right. Let's just head back towards the main farm, and I will start doing my normal thank you stuff. And I actually do mean it. I really do appreciate you guys watching and commenting and subscribing and telling all your friends and stuff about the channel. And you know, as I mentioned in yesterday's Pine Cove Farm, the very first, the real episode, the first episode of the series, Eustace Pharmer did twist my arm quite hard and convinced me to do some horseplay tutorials, even though they're, you know, kind of already out there, but do them in my style, the way I sort of do things. And so I'll be working on that. And I don't think at this particular point in time, I don't think that the horseplay tutorials will be lone episodes. In other words, you know, you're still going to get, I know I took Saturday off. I didn't release an episode on Saturday just because I wanted to build up a little bit of a buffer, if that was at all possible, and it was. And I really appreciate that opportunity to kind of take a little bit of time off, and so that really came in handy. But so the courseplay stuff won't be solo episodes, I don't think, because they're going to be short. They're probably going to be in the 10-minute range, certainly less than 15 minutes, because my philosophy is get in, get out, and don't make too big of a mess. Basically, you know, provide the information that folks need, and be done with it. So I think that's the way that I will obviously do it. We're going to stop our driver and get rid of that, and we're going to drive this back to the farm. But because they will be shorter episodes, it's going to be just, you know, what you need to know. So what I'll do is when I release those, then I will release those later in the day after I've released full episodes in story mode. So that's how that's going to work. So anyway, so thanks all so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Keep coming back for your almost daily fix of farming on Lawfolds and Pine Cove Farm for now. So thank you all for watching. I do appreciate that, and take care now. Have a wonderful week, a wonderful weekend. It's hard to believe that we're already into March. Before you know it, the flowers will be blooming, and I guess depending on where you live, you may already have flowers. It has decided to become winter once again here in Colorado. We had snow just a few days ago, and it's turned cold again, but that is how it is, and because we can expect this kind of weather maybe until early to mid-May, actually. So thank you all for watching again. I know I've said that several times. I'm going to close out because I'm babbling. Take care. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.